You should start a photo project. In this video I will tell you why. Hi there, I'm Peter Forsgaard, an Olympus visionary and a professional photographer from Helsinki, Finland. And before we get into the reasons why you should have a photo project or start a photo project, please consider to subscribe to my channel and hit that bell so you get notified when there is a new video online. My channel is all about you getting to be a better photographer and also, of course, about Olympus gear. And remember, I post 2 videos a week, usually on Tuesdays and on Fridays. But let's start talk about photo projects. Sometimes we all have times that we don't find anything to photograph. And that happens to all of us. And some of us think that buying a new lens or getting some new gear will change that. But I will tell you, it won't. It will maybe boost up your motivation for a short period of time. But in the long run, the only thing that makes you happy are the photographs. And starting a project will give you those photographs that will make you happy. And it also will give you a purpose to make those images. Of course, you could only take random photographs every now and then, but that won't give you the satisfaction in the same way, because that is photographing random things without a purpose in most cases. But of course, sometimes just taking images of anything or just random images can be very pleasing. But in most cases, that won't give you a long-term satisfaction about photography. You don't have a path on your photography if you just take random images every now and then. But having a project gives you the purpose. And there's also one great thing about starting a project. You start seeing more, which leads to more things to photograph. And that is a really big thing. And I think I just gave the biggest reason in the beginning of this video. I started a project a few years ago where I started to make images of coffee mugs that I saw everywhere in the city. Even though Helsinki is one of the cleanest cities in the world, they're everywhere. And here are some of those images. These images of mugs does not have a deeper meaning. I'm not saying that a purpose should mean that you have a deeper meaning. The purpose can be just to have fun with photography and have some kind of path to follow when you have a project. But of course these images of these mugs can raise some questions. Who left it there? How was the coffee? Where did the coffee come from? And why it was left right there, the mug? Somebody moved it there, or it's just the wind blows, or what has caused the mug to be just right there? Because some of the mugs were in quite funny places. But what happened when I was making these images of mugs, I started to see a lot other things. As I said, Helsinki is one of the cleanest cities in the world. Still, there's a lot of garbage on the streets. And all of a sudden, when I was photographing the mugs, I started seeing garbage. And here are some of the images of that. Yet not a very exciting project, and I can proudly say that now I've shown you some images that are totally garbage. But what really happened is that after taking those images of those mugs, you start seeing other things. And it doesn't matter what the project is, you start seeing other things. And this is something that Arno Rafael Minkkinen, a Finnish-American photographer, once said, "Let the camera help you to find those images." And that what exactly happened to me when I was taking the images of the mugs. Then I saw the garbage. And then all of a sudden I started seeing shoes all over the place. And I think I found something more interesting than the mugs or the garbage. These images raise even more questions. Whose shoes are they? Why are they there? Where did they get the shoes? And what is the story of the shoes? Where have these shoes been before, now that they are there? In that sense, I think the images of the shoes are really interesting. And of course, the project can take for years, but it doesn't have to be that way. It can, but it doesn't have to be. You can have a weekend project, photographing something during the weekend, and that could be your project. You can have a project every month. One weekend you dedicate yourself to a photography project and photograph something that you find interesting, and maybe something that you saw in the previous weekend. Would the camera help you to see something else? You should try that sometimes. It's really rewarding. This is something that I did during a weekend a few years ago. Reflections are everywhere, very easy project, and a lot of fun too, and reflections are interesting. You can get really interesting images. And then I want to give you a tip. After you started your project, it's always important to pick the best ones. And I have a really good method how to find those images. Let's say that you have a project of photographing cars. And the first time you go out there, you just started the project and let's say you take 30 images of cars. And you come back and you upload them to your computer, then you start, picking up the best ones. Okay, let's say that you pick 5 best ones or 10 best ones, it doesn't matter. Mark those with stars or color codes or whatever your method is, and then move them to another catalog and save the rest in that catalog where they are. And then next time you go out and make images of cars, you upload those into the same folder that you previously did and start rating those images and pick, let's say, 5 best ones. Including the old images and the new ones. Okay, and then move them back to the folder where you have, let's say, 10 best images now. And let's say your goal is to get 20 really good images of cars. Every time you go out, do the same thing. You pick the best ones from the whole group of images and move them to the best ones. Once you have those 20 images, don't stop there. But then what happens? You start to take more images, and if you get a better one than those 20 so far, you will ditch the weakest image and replace it with the new one. And if you do this many times, all of a sudden you might have totally 20 different images than you originally had. And if you do this for many years, you might have really strong images of cars. And I don't mean that the project has to lead to a big exhibition. Your exhibition can be your Instagram account, Facebook, Flickr, Twitter, or whatever you choose. And sharing those images can be your exhibition. But of course, there might be a local library, there might be a local camera club that will be happy to show your images. And in that sense, that could lead to an exhibition, which is always a lot of fun to have an exhibition. That's really something. And before I get into the big announcement, I will show some of my car images that I've taken over the years. I am really excited about this announcement. I will start mentoring you if you want. There will be a link in the description of this video where there are all the details and info about how this thing works and how much does it cost. And I really hope that you are starting a project or just other ways of wanting to get better at photography. Please go check out all the info and details about the mentoring program that I'm starting. And I hope you grab the offer, and we'll be looking forward working with you. And next you might want to watch this video. It's all about getting inspired or getting your inspiration back. So, thanks for watching and bye for now.